Dr. Paul and Anncy Rowe are high-achieving professionals. She's a global marketing executive in the beauty industry, and he's a medical doctor for a pharmaceutical company. They were not consistent givers.
I always felt I had a moral obligation to give to the church, but when it came down to really understanding what tithing is, I don't think I fully grasped what it was.
My understanding of tithing and giving was embarrassingly very little.
As a medical student, Paul expected to have a successful career, but pressure from Paul's student loan debt after graduation began to exhaust more than 50% of his income at the time.
Not only did I have significant debt from medical school, but I had debt from my undergraduate. There was one time after working late in the hospital, coming off a late shift, I was still in my scrubs. I went to the local grocery store. I went to the register to pay, and I couldn't pay. My account didn't have the money. I apologized, and I rolled the card over to the side, and I walked out. And you start to think about, what are you going to do? You know, how am I going to be able to pay off these loans and also be able to survive?
Years later, after Paul married, his wife Anncy had her own struggles as a beauty professional.
I needed to sow back into my community, and one of my communities is my church community. So I wanted to be a key part of growing the kingdom of God through my giving.
Then one night at church, Anncy went up for prayer, was called out specifically, and received a word of knowledge from her pastor.
And he said, this is going to be your year. You are going to be like a chatterbox of excitement for God and your career. He gave me that word, and I had one of the best years in my career.
Feeling empowered, Paul and Anncy responded to an appeal at their church to plant a special seed offering.
We started learning about the importance of tithing and offering. We sat down together and said, you know, how can we become more of a partnership and a disciplined team around this?
I've never done that offering above and beyond my tithing. And I said, God has been so good to me. I'm gonna sow this seed. That same week, I wrote that check again without expectation, and I had my year-end review. And that year-end review was the best year-end review I ever had.
Anncy had a special realization when she saw the amount of the bonus she received from her year-end review.
It was 100 times what I had just sowed.
2 years later, Paul moved to another company where his salary also increased. The couple were able to pay off Paul's student loans in full.
Since I started being disciplined in my tithing and giving, I've seen probably a 100% increase in my salary and income.
Today, Paul leads a team of 400 healthcare professionals. Anncy has continued to flourish in her marketing career, and the Rowe's combined income has increased by 200%. They fully attribute this to tithing and have an encouraging message for others.
I think our tithing and giving served as a key to unlock opportunities that may have been there. We've just had blessings upon blessings because of the fact that we became disciplined in our tithing and our offering. So I can't afford not to.